court cases to overcoming what he terms as the fake media. The road back to the White House as president has been a bumpy one for Donald Trump.
We made history for a reason tonight, and the reason is going to be just that. We overcame obstacles that nobody thought possible, and it is now clear that we've achieved the most incredible political thing. Look what happened. Is this crazy?
From being president between 2016 to 2020, to becoming former president between 2020 to 2024, and now to newly elected president till 2028. As president-elect, he is just a few steps away from taking off back to the White House. It has not been a long journey.
This wasn't expected, but I just want to thank, obviously, President Trump for this journey. It was a great one, and he's a hell of a candidate, and he's going to be a hell of a great 47th president. And this team that we had, the best team, and, of course, even my boss, Susie Wiles, the best.
And under President Trump's leadership, we're never going to stop fighting for you, for your dreams, for the future of your children. And after the greatest political comeback in American history, we're going to lead the greatest economic comeback in American history under Donald Trump's leadership.
The most important job in the world, just as I did in my first term. We had a great first term, a great first term. I will govern by a simple motto: promises made, promises kept. We're going to keep our promises.
For a race whose victor was not clear, it took hitting the 270 electoral college mark for those in doubt to accept reality.
Micheal and I couldn't be prouder to endorse you and to do everything we can to get you through this election and into the Oval Office.
Oh my goodness. Micheal, Brock, this means so much to me.
Not even the support to his closest rival from former leaders like Barack Obama could deny Trump victory. The 2024 US election has been historical in a way that had Trump lost, Kamala Harris would have been the first female to become American president. This has unfortunately not happened, making Donald Trump the 47th president of the United States of America. Henry Okrut, UBC, here in Washington.
Henry Okrut there reporting from Washington. President Museveni has informed the fishing communities that the government aims at protecting Uganda's lakes for sustainable fish production. President Museveni made the remarks while meeting ministers, technical staff on enforcement against illegal fishing around the fishing communities in the country, as well as other stakeholders. The meeting took place at State House, Entebbe, and we have the details.
While meeting players in the fisheries sector, President Museveni explained that the government's position on using advanced technological means, such as the use of modern radars to monitor all the water bodies, will go a long way in solving most of the problems faced by the fisheries on the lakes. The president further revealed that on Lake Victoria, the government will deploy another system so that it is easy to check what is taking place on the lake.
And you have proposed solutions which I heard about. In order to help all this, the army is already upgrading the monitoring of these lakes. Like on Lake Albert, and I'm sure maybe on Lake Edward also, we have now modern systems. On the lake, on the shore, they have eyes to see in the lake, so that you don't have to depend on human beings only.
President Museveni also asked the enforcement body to use the old techniques of the National Resistance Movement, NRM, such as holding meetings every 2 months as a way of accessing information from the Wananchi. He also called upon communities to stop encroaching on swamps and noted that the government can help them to set up fish ponds as a way of restoring the wetlands. The Acting Commissioner for Fisheries in the Ministry of Agriculture, Animal Industry and Fisheries, Joseph Bwanika, while presenting a paper to the President, highlighted that the fisheries subsector plays a crucial role in the country's economy, food security and livelihoods of Ugandans.
The use of destructive fishing practices is still a concern, and FPU is doing its best. The use of undersized fishing nets is the most serious threat, causing harvest of immature fish and depriving the country of immense economic value that would be obtained if the fish was allowed to mature.
The paper highlighted challenges as well as recommendations facing the subsector, which the government as well as stakeholders will explore for the benefit of the sector.
First Deputy Prime Minister and Minister for East African Affairs, Rebecca Kadaga, has emphasized the Ombudsman's role as a voice for ordinary Ugandans, addressing bureaucratic hurdles and championing citizens' rights. Kadaga was attending the Umud Man Day Celebrations organized by the Inspectorate of Government in Kampala, where several dignitaries including the Public Protector of South Africa, Leer Uganda, attended.
By ensuring that public officials operate with integrity, the Ombudsman function empowers citizens and ensures their concerns are heard. The First Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of East African Affairs, Rebecca Kadaga, highlighted that the use of Ombudsman improves service delivery and restores public trust and confidence.
And I will say that in Switzerland, the Ombudsman is both in the private and the public sector. And in Switzerland, there's an ombudsman on banking, on insurance, on telecoms, housing, licensing, radio and even television. I also checked in the other jurisdictions. There's the legal ombudsman, who is in charge of receiving and investigating complaints about consumers and the legal service providers.
The head of public service, Lucina Chobe, highlighted the collaborative approach with the Speaker of Parliament to ensure that any funds allocated for public services are managed transparently.
I have written all permanent secretaries, heads of agencies, that every ministry, every agency should have service delivery standards. And these must be approved by the government.
South Africa's Public Protector, Koro Saleka, commended the Inspectorate of Government sharing insights from the South Africa's experience in strengthening institutional integrity.
Ombudsmen are not government, and ombudsmen do not run operations. So they serve as an oversight and an accountability. It depends how you establish them, whether you establish them as an office, whether you establish them as an institution, or you establish them as a desk. So they serve as that mechanism for government to at least have a person or persons closer to whichever sector.
The Inspector General of Government, Betty Kamya, urged public officials to recognize their responsibility in safeguarding national resources. She warned that corruption harms all citizens and must be met with unified resistance.
The public must know their entitlement. The problem now is that people don't know that they are entitled. They think that government is doing them a favor. Or government official, you have to handle them with care, with someone in your pocket, with politeness, your best behavior to get a service. But when the people are empowered that a service from government is an entitlement, then they will demand it, and that's the message we are spreading around.
After the official ceremony, the Inspectorate of Government team, the Public Protector of South Africa, visited the Ministry of Public Service, where a pilot ombudsman program was launched.
As the chair of the Public Sector Transformation Program, this is where it will begin.
This pilot initiative represents a hands-on approach to assess and address citizen complaints, paving the way for a nationwide ombudsman rollout. Sudat Kaye, UBC News.
News tonight. Now, chaos erupted in Parliament today as tensions between lawmakers escalated into a physical altercation. Micheal Municipality MP Francis Zake and Kilak North MP Anthony Akol were involved in a violent confrontation, exchanging blows that left the House in a state of anarchy. The disturbance resulted in MP Zake being rushed out of the chambers for medical attention. The session, which had convened to discuss several critical bills, including the National Coffee Amendment Bill of 2024, was temporarily halted amidst the chaos. Earlier, MP Zake, along with Kira Municipality colleague Ibrahim Semujunganda, had raised concerns to the Speaker regarding the potential presence of firearms in the parliamentary chambers, warning of the possibility of gun influence. The warnings were made in light of rising tensions within the House. The situation remained fluid as authorities investigate the incident.
The Wednesday morning plenary session resurrected the past experience and history of fist fights in the Parliament of Uganda. Only 30 minutes into the session, the public media space was already awash with video clips exposing a state of anarchy in the August House. This all started after a section of the members of Parliament vowed to choose someone out if the National Coffee Amendment Bill 2024 is proceeded with at Parliament.
If I am saying let Honorable Zake speak first, you don't have to shout.
Anger silently boiled as MPs suspected the intrusion of strangers in the House. Kira Municipality MP Ibrahim Semujunganda was the first to alert the Speaker.
In our rules, you don't carry guns beyond the main gate. I am not certain that there are no guns inside this building. And I am raising this because some of us have fallen victims before.
Then, the Micheal Municipality MP Francis Zake pinpointed one of the people he called a stranger, alleging that he possessed a gun.
Honorable Zake,
listen to me.
Honorable Zake,
there's a gun in the house. Madam Speaker, I beg, let the security official be subject to a check if he does not have a gun.
First wait. Be calm.
The Speaker of Parliament, Anita Among, ordered for the gun-possessing suspect to be subjected to a check.
Sergeant at the arm, can you check? No, let him be checked. Remove your jacket. Honorable members, the sergeant at arms has checked, and there is nothing. Yes, there is nothing.
As this process continued, MP Zake noticed that his seat was occupied by Clark North MP Anthony Akol. Zake viciously demanded for his seat in vain.
Can you sit? Can you sit? Can you sit?
Quickly escalating the situation into a physical one when he attempted to grapple the much bigger Akol off his seat. Akol swiftly retaliated with a 4-punch combination, missing 3 and landing a lethal straight right onto Zake's right jaw, sending him tumbling into the chairs before fellow legislators quickly jumped in to restrain the fighters.
Corner.
Anthony Akol is also notoriously remembered for physically exchanging blows with former MP Odongoto in the 10th Parliament. More MPs were seen being picked from the chambers and whisked away by unidentified security personnel.
I saw myself being howled, they dragged me, they came and started throwing blows all over me. They put me up, they hurt my shoulder, they pulled me out and dragged me on the floor. Incidentally, they threw me in the police van, where I found other 5 members.
This is not the first time MP Zake Francis is involved in a physical confrontation with opponents. The Speaker of Parliament, Anita Among, on return after the House calmed, suspended 12 MPs suspected to be the cause of the commotion and later suspended the House for 30 minutes before the Parliament resumes with the bills on rationalization.
We suspend the House for 30 minutes.
Daniel Mugoya, UBC News.
That was in Parliament this morning. The Uganda Parliamentary Press Association, in other news, has announced a boycott of parliamentary coverage, condemning what they describe as inhuman treatment, including the eviction of journalists from the plenary and gallery. At a press conference held at Parliament, Sam Ibanda Mugabe, the president of the Press Association, stated that the association would only resume its coverage of parliamentary proceedings once Parliament ensures a free and fair working environment for them.
Following the chaos during Wednesday plenary session, which saw UPPA journalists evicted from the gallery, the association has decided to suspend its coverage of parliamentary activities.
Starting now, we shall not cover the proceedings of Parliament, neither the proceedings of the opposition or government activities in Parliament, until when the leadership of the Uganda Parliamentary Press Association engages the leadership of Parliament and have a common consensus and give an assurance on the safety of journalists in this Parliament.
The eviction of journalists from Parliament's gallery is a clear indication that the press is being restricted from reporting on some proceedings.
As media, we are not here to be pro-government, and we are not here to be pro-opposition. We are here to fulfill the mandate of being a journalist that is professional in terms of disseminating information. So we don't want to say we are pro-opposition or pro-government, but we are here to disseminate information to the public and follow what was going on.
The president of UPPA condemned the actions, calling for an environment where journalists can carry out their duties freely without interference.
UBC News tonight. Still at Parliament, intersecurity agencies have justified the heavy deployment around Parliament and throughout Kampala metropolitan area today. Police spokesperson for Kampala Metropolitan, Patrick Onyango, confirmed that they had received intelligence about a planned protest during the parliamentary debates on the controversial Coffee Amendment Bill.
The increased security presence in and around Parliament sparked mixed reactions from various stakeholders, particularly legislators who turned out in large numbers ahead of the debate on the contentious Coffee Amendment Bill. Only one entrance to Parliament was gazetted for entry, and all individuals were subjected to thorough security checks. The Speaker of Parliament, Anita Among, was also subjected to a mandatory security check using the main entrance, which is unusual for her when accessing the chambers. Members of Parliament raised concerns about the heavy deployment and questioned whether there was a specific security threat to their lives which justified such measures.
And as I was approaching the precincts of Parliament, then I saw the intense kind of a security that was deployed within and outside the precincts of Parliament. I was overchecked everywhere thoroughly. Then, of course, I got inside Parliament.
We stayed calm, not to create any havoc in the system. But the unfortunate bit, when the time came, when the speaker went out and came back, he started reading our names. And among the names, I was included. Sincerely, I was a very calm individual in the Parliament.
Lawmakers also raised concerns about the presence of plainclothes security personnel within the parliamentary chambers, urging that this contradicted the House rules.
So now the issues, of course, that we raised concerned insecurity and suspicion. Of course, there are some unknown individuals who were planted within Parliament buildings. And then some of our honourable members of Parliament raised the issue that so-and-so is suspected to be having a gun, of which, of course, some of them escaped and ran. Okay.
The deployment was not confined to Parliament alone. Security visibility was also heightened across the entire Kampala metropolitan area.
That there are people who are planning to storm Parliament. Others are planning to come while walking, holding coffee seedlings. And in view of trying to, their aim was to disrupt the business of today. But as security agencies, we had to deploy.
The increased security visibility is intended to address potential security uncertainties, particularly to prevent the kind of protests witnessed during the infamous March to Parliament demonstration. Abdunasir Lobama and Rogers Komagum for UBC.
Parliament has passed the National Road Fund Amendment Bill of 2024 into law. The bill seeks to empower the Ministry of Works and Transport to effectively administer the fund and oversee its operations. While addressing Parliament, the Minister for Works and Transport, General Edward Katumba Wamala, reassured members that the amendment is not intended to cause job losses. He emphasized that no employee under the road fund would be disenfranchised due to the ongoing rationalization process.
The Uganda National Road Fund Amendment Bill 2024 has successfully passed through all parliamentary processes, including the second and third readings, and has now been enacted into law. The Speaker of Parliament, Right Honourable Anita Monk, confirmed that the bill was tabled on 24th September 2024, allowing the State Minister to move the motion for the second reading. State Minister for Works, Honourable Musa Echweru, explained that the National Road Fund was originally established by an Act of Parliament to support local government community access roads. The fund continues to be a vital channel through which resources from the Ministry of Finance reach local governments.
And the management and administration of the fund has been a little bit sometimes difficult for the ministry, which supervises the operations of the roads, to understand how it happens apart from the circulars that they keep giving us.
While presenting the report from the Committee on Physical Infrastructure, Chairperson Honourable Dan Chimosho Atwijukire noted that the committee fully supports the proposal to mainstream the Uganda National Road Fund into the Ministry of Works. The bill was then moved to the committee stage, where it underwent a clause-by-clause review and amendments proposed by the Attorney General, Honourable Kiriowa Chiwanuka. Before the motion for the House's resumption was moved, MP Dr. Samuel Akuti of Kole North raised concerns about funds from other ministries not passing through the district roads committees.
Even though up, we may not consolidate it under one budget, but at the district, we should be able to first of all have supreme authority. Otherwise, what is happening, Right Honourable Speaker, is a district roads committee comes up with a road plan, and then the Works and Technical Committee also comes up with their own plan. So you have two plans and there is conflict.
The issue of the powers and functions of the district roads committees sparked a heated debate, though it was not explicitly addressed in the bill.
Road level,
Dr. Shute is right. We must get that function streamlined now in this amendment to give powers to the District Roads Committee to supervise all road-related funds. Let's put that function in this road fund amendment.
Now, we need to define if the road committee in our district is empowered enough to report, to investigate, to do oversight on all the money is coming from whichever source, as long as it's coming to our districts. We will.
The Speaker, Right Honourable Anita Among, suggested that the matter could be handled administratively by the Ministry of Finance.
Prime Minister, you need to look at the issue of transport planning and management in all the districts. Whether these are tourism roads, oily roads, water roads, whichever, you need to see how you manage them.
Chairperson of the Physical Infrastructure Committee, Honourable Dan Kimosho, also highlighted the challenge of roads that fall under the jurisdiction of other ministries, making it difficult for the Ministry of Works to ensure proper supervision and standardization.
As we debate it, we must also take it in context that it's not only about the money, but about the standardization of the entire infrastructure.
Attorney General Honourable Chiriwa Chiwanuka acknowledged that such complex issues require more time for further consultations among ministers.
That it may not be able to be done in this bill at this time. I just propose that the Minister of Works, Minister of Local Government, Minister of Agriculture, Minister of Water under the Prime Minister do take up this matter.
Minister Echeru confirmed that after thorough deliberation and review by the Committee of the Whole House, the bill was amended and passed. The report was adopted and the bill was successfully passed into law after the third reading.
For an act titled the Uganda Road Fund Amendment Act 2024.
Title settled and the bill passed.
So nobody should tell you that it's going to be disenfranchised because of the rationalization. He will decide at his own.
Parliament has also passed the National Coffee Amendment Bill of 2024. The move was after a controversial debate which witnessed a section of the opposition members boycotting the House final steps of the processing. The functions of UCDA will now be shifted to the Minister of Agriculture, Animal Industry and Fisheries if the President assents to the new legislation. Speaker of Parliament, Anita Among, distanced Parliament from claims of conflict of interest.
After the dust settled, 305 members of Parliament voted to abolish the Uganda Coffee Development Authority. This proceeding went ahead in the absence of journalists after the morning chaos, which forced the Speaker to suspend some members. Earlier, the Leader of Opposition, Joel Senyonyi, indicated that the Speaker of Parliament, Anita Among, declares conflict of interest in the controversial National Coffee Amendment Bill 2024.
You seemed to have a particular interest in the coffee bill. You were exchanging words with, having a chat with the government chief whip, and you asked him if he does have the numbers.
Senyonyi, based on the previous claims that the Speaker uttered discriminatory statements during the last sitting of Parliament.
So, Honourable Speaker, I brought your attention to our laws, the Constitution, our rules of procedure regarding conflict of interest, which would see you decently recuse and excuse yourself from presiding over this matter, but also the tribal sentiments, Right Honourable Speaker, that we did hear you make, that have got to be addressed by yourself, perhaps beginning with an apology, and then we see how we take things from there.
But after the uncontrolled chaos, a section of the opposition MPs did not return to the House, which resumed to process the bill. The Speaker of Parliament responded to Joel Senyonyi.
The rule is inapplicable to the Speaker because as part of Rule 77(1) and Rule 93(4), the Speaker is neither participates in the debate before the House, nor does she vote in any issue before the House.
Speaker Anita Among asked that those accusing her provide evidence.
Once it is laid on table and it is true that I said what he said, then I will be able to apologize to this country and to the persons who are affected. But before that is done, because it is not true, I will not do it.
The 58 clauses of the proposed new legislation empower the Minister for Agriculture, Animal Industry and Fisheries to be politically responsible for the varieties and prices of coffee in the market. The bill was also amended to ask that the Ministry of Agriculture, in consultation of other stakeholders, develop a strategy for promoting and cultivation of recommended types of varieties of coffee in Uganda.
Madam Chair, we've supported the bill and we've agreed with everything. We request that for political reasons, because of the pressure we are facing, that this is allowed, at least because of the pressure that we're having on it.
Mistake to allow him make regulations and he implements, you are in danger. This is a very leading sector. It is a coffee sector. It has a lot of revenues.
MAIF shall also promote and support coffee consumption, conduct awareness and build capacity of local baristas.
While I agree that it may not be the duty of the ministry to go around promoting the consumption of coffee, I do not think it is harmful because we have the people who are in that value chain and they are part of the value addition of the value chain of coffee. So there is coffee which is exported and then coffee which is consumed.
Despite the earlier status that MAIF did not have the capacity to handle UCDA functions, the Minister for Agriculture, Animal Industry and Fisheries, Frank Tumwebaze, assures the public of successful implementations. The move to pass the controversial National Coffee Amendment Bill 2024 into law collapses the national debate on coffee, which had occupied the media space. Daniel Mugoya, UBC News.
Yeah, it was a day in Parliament, and we thank our team for the coverage and the compilation of the stories. For you, thank you so much for watching. Let's take a short break. We have more away from Parliament.
There is only one rule you must follow in order to be a winner. Number one, defeat the undefeatable. You, step forward. I want you to box the air until it falls down. I'm not seeing it falling in. You see it falling in. Box, winning is hard, but with MTN Momo, it's easy. Simply pay or shop with Momo for a chance to win mobile money every day. Use the Momo app or dial *165*3#.
Uganda, are you ready to kick things up to the next level? The Uganda National Lottery brings you Sports Take 10. Predict the results of 10 football games and win big. With tickets at only 500 shillings, join the fun and make your predictions count with Sports Take 10. Sports Take 10, your ticket to football glory.
Uganda National Lottery. Dream, play, win. Participants must be 18 years or older. Play responsibly. The Uganda National Lottery is operated by Ituba Uganda and regulated by the National Lotteries and Gaming Regulatory Board. In the heart of Uganda, a financial revolution is happening. We were once left out, saving the old-fashioned way, with an unexpected saving spot, keeping it too close for comfort. But now, we found a better way to save and manage money. Download the Wendy app from Google Play or App Store or dial *229#. With Wendy, your money is safe and you can earn interest daily. Visit your Google Play or App Store or dial *229# to register. Wendy Wanawoli.
UBC News Tonight, we thank you so much for watching and welcome back from the break. The journey towards East Africa integration remains challenging, says Veronica Nduva, the Secretary General of the East African Community. At the launch of the second annual CSG SCAN 2023-24 report by Africa legal practitioners, stakeholders emphasized the need for the partner states to set aside their differences and unite around shared goals.
The report tracks regulatory measures adopted by East African Community partner states over a 15-month period, impacting the free movement of capital, goods and services across the region.
The idea of sovereignty in a regional bloc that has ambitions of political federation, I think is a no-brainer in my view.
We have done a lot on the domestic level. Let's go to the regional stage and block the potential barriers and ensure that the regional capital markets develops in the next coming years.
At the release of the report on the East African Community integration, various stakeholders hailed the progress achieved so far, while also calling attention to gaps that require urgent attention.
The Common Market Protocol is not just an economic agenda, it is a vision for a more connected, competitive and prosperous East African community. It envisions a region where goods, services, capital and people flow freely across borders. I have a personal term I've come up with. In a nutshell, integration should be just termed with one word: borderless. Just that.
The 2023-2024 compliance scan of CSG commitments shows the East African Community partner states continue to exhibit the intent of adopting measures to foster the free movement of capital, goods and services. However, the pace of adoption is a growing concern to CACITA and the Private Sector Foundation.
We need to go borderless. Why would I need, as a Ugandan business person, why do I need a visa or a passport to go to Tanzania or Kenya? Then two, we need to standardize or get standardization and standards. The standardization looks at things playing the same way. As it is in Uganda, it should be the same way as it is in Kenya or Rwanda or Burundi.
We have been decrying protectionism. Sometimes our products are blocked, especially Uganda. We are always on the receiving end. But this is our baby, the East African community, and would like to continue to nurture it. As a business community, as a private sector, we are now also woke to the fact that we have left integration to the politicians, we have left it to the boardrooms of the bureaucrats.
Despite the challenges, there is an opportunity for the East African Community capital markets to leverage economies of scale, expand the pool of investors, and continuously increase the number and diversity of issuers and products.
The East African Community integration has topped the discussions and the agenda at the second annual CSG SCAN 2023-2024 report. But among us that, the bottlenecks that are hindering trade within the East African region, such as border-free access, free market access, tax regimes and currency recognition, have also been part of the conversations. The bigger question is, when will this be addressed? Joram Paul Sonko for UBC.
The National Primary Living Examinations, that is PLE, commenced today across Uganda, marking a return to pre-COVID-19 examination settings. Thousands of pupils nationwide sat for mathematics and social studies papers amidst favorable weather conditions.
By 7 a.m., primary leaving examinations were already leaving their anchor points to schools amidst tight security to avoid misconduct and malpractice. With mathematics and social studies kickstarting this year, the Inspector of Schools, Shira Municipality, has warned stakeholders against any form of malpractice.
Exams have gone on so well. We have followed all the UNEB guidelines after the dot because we were advised by UNEB that we should use senior people in the distribution of the exams.
Examinations kicked off smoothly in various parts of the country, with pupils expressing confidence in their preparation. At Outspan Primary School, Namlonge, the head teacher assured that pupils had undergone rigorous preparation and were poised for excellence.
We have finished our first examination, and that's our mathematics examination. So far it's good.
I thank my teachers because they have taught with me really, because the paper didn't have any problem.
We have been doing a lot of revising work from primary 1 to primary 7. The whole of third term we have been revising, have done several revisions.
Pupils at St. Paul Day and Boarding School echoed the head teacher's sentiments, expressing their readiness to tackle examinations.
We are ready for our primary leaving examination. We are going to do our PLE, and we are prepared enough.
We've prepared our candidates well, and we have no question about their performance.
In the same go, at St. Marcelino Academy, Matuga, pupils have expressed their readiness for excellence for the exams. While in Kagadi district, the start of PLE has been marred by absenteeism of registered candidates and delay to deliver question parcels to over 92 PLE sitting centres of the district.
The exams have not reached at the centre, so they are supposed to be here by 8 so that the candidates can be prepared, but as of now, they are not yet here.
Fortunately, one has not turned up by names of Daphne Kabasomi, index number 006, and she's female.
The District Inspector of Schools, Mary Chofuna, said there were few absentees declining to divulge the total number of candidates registered on top of papers arriving late for far distant places of Kakindu and Kasita. Cayenne Faith and Mike Bakavlindi for UBC.
Now, the 4 teachers that were arrested over the weekend for unauthorized possession of materials purported to be UNEB examination papers have been arraigned before court and charged by Kira Magistrate Seguia Ivan. The 4 who have pleaded guilty to the charges will return in court on Thursday, the 7th of November.
Your Worship, I'm praying information dates to allow me organize the breakfast.
So this is a very good in terms of security of examination. This actually shows it shows good energy, positive energy, and we want to thank the security agencies who have been out there looking out for anyone who is trying to do any kind of practice, and also to try and curtail the security of the examination.
The Director NRM Mobilization, Rosemary Seninde, is in Kisoro to campaign for the NRM flag bearer, Rose Kabaji, amidst internal division following the recent party primaries. Rose Seninde says she is to settle the internal bickering among NRM members in Kisoro and secure a win for the flag bearer. The by-election for the Kisoro Woman Member of Parliament seat is scheduled for November 14th, featuring 6 candidates: Grace Akifeza Ngabirano on Independent, Rose Kabaji NRM, Salim Sultana NUP, Juliet Musanase FDC, among others.
already on the ground and we are trying to do our best. The good thing is that our candidate is doing well. From what we have gathered and what we are gathering on the ground and the way we are seeing her rallies, our candidate is doing well. Of course, the challenge we have as far as Kisoro is concerned is that we have an independent candidate. And maybe if that independent candidate was out, things would be smooth. But of course, there are still a lot of challenges here, and these are because of regional differences. So we are trying to talk to the people, and we are trying to talk to the leaders who are fueling this kind of we are trying to talk to engage them. Maybe by the end of this week, we shall be somewhere. So we are very hopeful. We are going to engage the independent candidate as well, and we shall engage many more leaders, more so the religious leaders and other political and local leaders.
Arifu, a leading digital learning platform, has partnered with Brighter Man Day Uganda to launch a groundbreaking initiative aimed at empowering women across Uganda, Kenya and Nigeria. The collaboration seeks to uplift over 250,000 women by providing them with essential skills through micro-learning courses, driving income growth and enhancing economic opportunities.
Course and learn as much as possible. What we are offering are courses that are very relevant. If you are a job seeker looking for a job, we know what employers need right now, and we are offering that in these courses. If you're a small business owner, you don't know how to make more money in your business, how do you utilize online channels and digital platforms to make more money? So we are using these courses to empower these three kind of women and make sure that they have as much chance as anybody else to grow themselves.
We know for sure that unemployment is such a challenge in our country. And as we look into our national development plan, we're looking at how we can ensure that our human capital is much more productive and there's more access in terms of employment. So one of the challenges is really the lack of education. And as the world drives towards Vision 2030, we're looking at quality education as one of the ways in which we influence sustainability for our country and for the rest of the world. So one of the areas we've identified is that women are actually struggling because of the inequalities. So breaking the inequality barrier means that when women are given access to quality education, they will get the right skills that will enable them to walk into the workplace. That also means that they will be able to get access to decent work and economic growth. So that way then we contribute to the development of our country in the best of our agenda.
You'll be able to learn how to, first of all, strategically place yourself to get investors, how to sell and market your products online, how to understand who to get into your business, the right investor, the right partner, and also how basic skills around how you can grow your business, how you can ensure that you profit from certain risks that may make it fail. So if you're a lady out there, please, you now have the information. These courses are free. Go ahead and apply for them and get in.
At a consultative workshop for church leaders held at Jeven Hotel, Bishop Dr. Nathan Samwini, head of the program for Christian-Muslim relations in Africa, emphasized the urgent need for unity in addressing climate change. He noted that human activities are the main drivers of climate change, impacting everyone regardless of their race, religion or tribe.
As a home for all religions and races,
organization is championing a program we call Forum of Religion or Belief, acronymized FORB4, which pushes for the freedom of everybody to choose, freedom to practice, and freedom to even proclaim his or her religion without any hindrance.
Joy Wandabwa, a Prochumra team leader, further highlighted that one of Prochumra's key objectives is to bring faith communities together to address climate change.
Has not concretely been able to address our context.
At the workshop, various church leaders discussed how faith-based groups can work together to safeguard the environment.
Change knows no borders,
knows no religion, race, creed. And in terms of taking action, everyone at individual level should take action.
In my area where I'm serving, so that I sensitize different congregations if I get time.
Area advisor appealed to government to implement inclusive environmental policies, stressing that these policies should address climate issues impartially.
We need to take care of the environment because when disaster comes, it doesn't discriminate a Christian or a Muslim or a Kafir. The request the government is that we put up clear policies which are being followed by each and every other person, irrespective of their financial.
To be a winner, it requires that you exceed all the limits of mankind and womankind. But when you play with MTN Momo, winning is easy. Simply get your phone and use the Momo app or dial *165*3#, enter merchant code, enter amount, enter your Momo PIN, and pay. Congratulations, easy! Your stomach is full, and now you stand a chance to win mobile money with MTN Momo.
The Ministry of Health informs the general public that there are some cases of Mpox detected in Uganda. The ministry, working with partners and affected district local government, are doing their best to contain the situation. The signs and symptoms of Mpox are body rash, fever, general body weakness, headache, sore throat, nasal congestion or cough, and swollen lymph nodes. You can prevent yourself from getting infected with Mpox by avoiding close contact with people who have been confirmed to have Mpox or who have signs and symptoms of Mpox. Avoiding touching or sharing personal items like beddings, eating utensils, phones, or other belongings of a person who has the signs and symptoms of Mpox. Avoiding contact, including eating, with all wild animals, alive or dead, especially those known to carry the virus, such as rodents and monkeys, and those that appear sick or have been found dead. Getting vaccinated if you're among those who have been identified to be at high risk of Mpox infection. Mpox is treatable and usually goes away after 2 to 4 weeks. However, it can be severe, causing even death, especially among children, pregnant women, and those with other health conditions. For more information and support, contact your nearest health worker. Call the Ministry of Health's toll-free line on 0800 100 066 or send a free SMS to your report on 8500.
In the world of business, access to affordable capital has been cited as a major stumbling block for the growth of small and medium enterprises in Uganda. This concern was raised at the 2024 Market Systems Development Convention held in Kampala.
The Market Systems Development Convention of 2024 brought together financial experts in the public and private space.
We need to be asking ourselves two things. One, from a demand perspective, how do we drive more demand from the population? But also, how do we build more resilience? If we are going to drive more financing to where it's needed the most, we can't ignore the macro, but also we can't ignore the micro.
In a country where agriculture employs over 70% of the population, this convention offers the opportunity for development practitioners to deliberate on solutions that can spur growth of the sector.
And for me, this particular workshop is bringing together several actors who could provide a solution that enables a smallholder farmer, enables an agribusiness in Uganda to find a solution. The solution could be an issue of capacity. The solution could be an issue about finance. The solution could be an issue around markets.
Access to affordable finance has been singled out as a major problem for many businesses that aim to grow, particularly for the agribusiness sector.
So you find that, for example, a fund is set up to support women entrepreneurs or youth SMEs, but then there are all these limitations on collateral and people cannot access the money, and that you have different projects that have found ways in which they can circumnavigate these weaknesses.
But what needs to be done to deal with the impediments to affordable financing?
I think there is a lot of space for collaboration between different players, collaboration between the financiers and those who buy from the smallholder farmer.
There is much more demand for money than the supply of money. That's the first thing, and that has to do with that fact that some of the things that we're a poor country, so there's much, but even anyway there's much more demand. But the little that we have, what we are saying is, can be used better.
Diano Olwen Peters, UBC News in Kampala.
In Uganda, many families are faced with the difficult and often unexpected reality of losing loved ones, typically at times when they are last prepared. This loss brings not only emotional trauma, but also leaves families vulnerable, struggling with their uncertainty of their health and financial security. Gary V. Corbett, the CEO of Salam Life Insurance Uganda, has announced the launch of the Salam Comprehensive Life Program, a funeral plan designed to offer families financial security during these challenging times. The program provides a range of benefits, including a funeral cover benefit that is adjusted for inflation, ensuring that families are better equipped to manage the costs associated with funerals related expenses.
And what that means, at that point where we all, that point where we do see that life has ended, this product comes in handy to pay out an amount as a subscription tragedy. We've all gone through hardships, and we all know what it means to lose a life. It is a point that is not desired, but life has to continue. And therefore, Salam Life has come up with this.
You are saying you are going to deliver ABCDE. Please deliver ABCDE. And if you don't deliver ABCDE, the regulator is there and is going to take you on. And of course, I want to advise the public that in case you have any complaints with the industry, any of the industry players, you can visit our website and lodge your complaint where we can handle it.
Happens and it's sudden. We do not expect it, and most of the times we've not prepared for it. Most of the things that we prepare for, education and everything that go on around life, we do not prepare for death. So most cases when death happens, it's a scatter of where we're going to get the funds. And I must mention that it's a burden to some people to be able to provide for that time when death happens.
Brought to you by download the Wendy app from Google Play or App Store or dial *229#. Wendy Wanaori.
At Uganda Development Bank, we are committed to empowering communities by supporting projects that unlock excellent economic benefits for Ugandans through job creation, tax contribution, output value, and foreign exchange. We seek partnerships with projects that drive economic development in Uganda.
Vocational education does more of equipping of different skills, ranging from hairdressing, tailoring, catering, and so on. So those are basically the courses that we do, and we do them in different levels. My relationship with UDB came through Yuga Privi. I'm registered with Private Institutions Association. So one time we were invited for a meeting as proprietors of schools, and UDB sold in their idea of offering loans for some of us who are still developing. So Ray happened to be one of those that is not yet fully established. Of course, being a private institution, we didn't have enough structures. So I applied for a loan, and that is how our relationship started. And yeah, so I got the first installment, putting up the preliminaries and the substructure, and the structure is being worked on. I really want to thank UDB so much because the interest is pretty low, and I must say, mu UDB nafunamu. Thank you so much UDB for supporting vocational education.
Uganda Development Bank, inspiring development.
In the world of sport, the Uganda Cranes head coach Paul Put has named the squad for the final 2 matches of the 2025 Total Energies Africa Cup of Nations qualifiers set to take place later this month. The Cranes will first face South Africa at the Mandela National Stadium in Nambole on Friday, the 15th of November 2024, with kickoff scheduled for 4 p.m. The team will then wrap up their campaign with an away match against Congo just 4 days after. Uganda currently tops Group K with 10 points, 2 points clear of second place South Africa. Congo and South Africa sit in third place with 4 and 0 points respectively. The Cranes have an opportunity to secure their qualification for AFCON 2025, needing just 1 point from the remaining 2 matches to seal their spot. Paul Put has summoned 27 players for the final stretch, though Italian best defender Erio Capradossi has been excluded from the squad. Coach Put has also explained the decision to include the 4th goalkeeper in the squad as part of his strategic preparations.
But first of all, I want to give my condolence to the family, friends, and all the Ugandan football fans for what happens during the game of Villa, the Dabaran is mine. So I give all my condolence to the family and friends. For the squad, for the goalkeepers, we have Isma Watenga, Nafian Alonzi, Charles Lukwago, and Wutwalebi Mogalofa. I will explain to you, you're going to be surprised that we take 4 goalkeepers, but I will explain to you why. After, then for the defenders, we have Gavin Kizotto, Kenneth Semakula, Bevis Mugabi, Halidi Luwaliwa, Timothy Awani, Jeffrey Waswa, Abdul Aziz Kayondo, and Isaac Mulen. For the midfielders, Saidi Manyanga, Tadeo Luwanga, Khalid Ocho, Bobozi, Ronald Seskigande, Travis Mutiaba, and Alan Akelo. For the forwards, we have Rogers Mato, Shafik Kwikiriza, Jude Semaukabi, Dennis Omedi, Hakim Kiwanakwa, Stephen Makwala, Calvin Kaboy, and John Paul Dembe. These are 27 names, but for the goalkeepers, we travel with 3. But I prefer to get 4 goalkeepers, also in the sense for Deschamps, so that he can work with my goalkeeper coach, that he also has an idea about local. So that was the meaning of it.
That brings us to the end of all we had for you tonight, being that at 10 p.m. we shall have Behind the Headlines, so newsroom closes here. We thank you so much for watching. Let's catch you in other programs. My name is Micheal Jordan Lukomwa, Elizabeth Nakako and the whole team. Wish you the best. Bye-bye.
UBC, inspiring Uganda.